Okay then, welcome to a video about preparing the body shell of my C30 race car. For those of you who know me, you'll know I had a Volvo C30 race car, same colour as this. Unfortunately that was destroyed in a crash at Castle Combe, and while it was theoretically possible to repair it using the back half of this one, it would have cost a lot of money because I'd had to use professional body shop companies, everything else, whereas I'm capable of reshelling a car on my own, having to rely on other people. So that's the route we're taking. This is a shell which I bought a few years ago when the other car had a bad fire and I needed lots of bits to replace it. It was cheaper to buy a whole car than it was to buy all the individual parts. It was meant to go on to scrapyard long before now, but people kept letting me down, so it's a good job they did, really, otherwise I wouldn't have this. So this video today I'm just going to briefly show what's involved in preparing the inside of a shell and how I do it. Lots of different ways of doing these things. Probably not be that interesting for most people, but if only one person finds it interesting, then that's good enough as far as I'm concerned. And at the very worst, I'll have a record of what I used to do when I was younger, in my old age. Right, let's get cracking. Well, there's definitely going to have to be a visit to scrapyard in my near future. This is what it looks like on the outside of my garage. A bit of a mess. And it's over here, got the seats, etc. I've already thrown out the roof lining and door cards, things like that, so this could be a skip or a visit to the scrapyard. Right, the main thing I'm doing is removing old seat brackets, which I'm not needing in the race car. I need the cross supports here. In the previous car I took those out, and that was a bad idea, so I welded them back in again because the floor just gets all bendy. But these little brackets on here, these aren't needed, and they get in the way of the cross braces I'll be welding in for the competition seats. The way I like to do these is just a good old-fashioned spot weld drill bit, although you can grind them out or use sanders, etc. I'll use a little bit of cutting compound on the end just to help the process. You do have to put a fair bit of pressure on these, which is easy enough with a horizontal surface like this, but if you're doing it vertically it can be a bit of a challenge to get enough force on there. But the other thing is drilling the correct amount down. It's all too easy to drill straight through and make a hole. Easy enough to fix with a bit of weld, but another job it shouldn't be doing that. Just go on and do that. So fast forward over to the next bit while I do that. That's all the holes drilled. Whether they're drilled deep enough is a very different matter. There's probably one down there, but I can't see any indications of one there, but we'll see how we go. So get the chisel out and start separating the skins. To go a little bit deeper, the others popped off nicely. Let's see if that's enough. Yep. Let's go a bit deeper as well. Looks like there was one on there. Just put another hole to weld up, never mind. So, another bracket bites the dust, several more to go. Right, the other job which needs doing all round the shell is removing the sound deadening. Again, it's several ways of doing this, but my preferred way is to use a heat gun and a nice sharp but stiff scraper. Helps you turn on the power, of course. Back in a minute. There we go. Everything's better with a bit of power. A little bit here to get off, I'll do that in a minute. Normally got a little bit cleaner than that, but it's a bit cack-handed with the camera there. And then I'll just finish off with the wire wheel. Second to last thing I have to do is several places on the car there's these little screw fixings for holding down the carpet, holding down heat insulation, things like that. Again, they're quite straightforward to remove. Just use a cut-off wheel, snip them off, a little bit of wire wheel action to make it smooth, and they're all done and dusted. Underneath of the car is going to be a completely different story, because I need them on the underneath of the car to hold all the heat shielding on. But most of them are rusted away, so when we get to that stage, probably in the next video of turning the car over, then you'll see how I'm going to sort that problem out. And the final horrible job I have to do is the seam sealer, which is, being a Volvo, is as thick as anything, and it's absolutely everywhere. You can see here I've started to get rid of it. There's nothing exciting about getting that off. It's just a attack of a wire wheel, sanders, anything you can do to get into the gaps to pull it out. But I want all that out because on the other car, after the crash, I noticed there were quite a few seams that were pulling apart, and they were nothing to do with the crash. It's just the stress of the actual car being driven for 4 years, especially the engine bay. I'll show you around there. Get this camera to actually go the right direction would help. That way. Yeah, these engine mounts here, they were all pulling away on the old car. So I'm going to seam weld all of those, and when I'm at it I'm going to seam weld all around here as well, and suspension turrets front and back, and probably seam weld some of the important parts inside the car as well, just to be on the safe side. While it's all apart, it's not that much of a hassle to do. And you can see the thing's a bit of a state from sitting outside for 2 years, so I got to go over probably every square inch of it anyway. So right, probably do it for this video, and next one hopefully all the interior will be done, and the car will be mounted on the rotisserie here and on its side, so we can do the bottom. So see you next time.